A lot of people, they are afraid about purchasing on Alibaba because they don't know who they are dealing with. And they are also afraid to wire thousands or hundreds of thousands US dollars to those suppliers that they never met. In my last video, I have reviewed around 10 types of very common scams and tricks that a lot of bad suppliers they will play. And they're not just simply take your money and run away, but you will very high risk of receiving bad quality products. Well, since Alibaba started to offer the trade assurance service around a few years ago, all this risk can be perfectly eliminated if you can use it correctly and place the order to supplier via the trade assurance. But does all suppliers on Alibaba can accept trade assurance? And is it 100% that you can get your money back if you are not satisfied with the product you received? And what's the correct way to use the trade assurance? Welcome to watch this complete guide of Alibaba trade assurance, and I will answer all your questions and eliminate all your concerns about the trade assurance today. I'm Jing, the founder of JingSourcing.com. We helped thousands of people source quality products from China since 2015, and I will share all my knowledge about sourcing, manufacturing, and importing in my videos. So subscribe now, then you won't miss the next coming video. Some of you maybe purchased product on Alibaba before, but I guess for most of you, you have thought about using Alibaba but never tried. So for today's video, I organize the content into 3 sections that all of you can benefit from my following content no matter you have related experience or not. In section 1, you will learn a basic understanding about what is trade assurance and how does it work to secure your purchasing. In section 2, I will teach you how to create a trade assurance order and place order to supplier. In section 3, you will learn how to open a dispute and get your money back when you receive bad quality products and to ensure you won't be ripped off by the bad suppliers. Let's get started. Trade assurance is a transaction protection service provided by Alibaba to boost the trust between the buyer and the suppliers. The buyer can get refund if the supplier cannot deliver the product on time or they deliver you the better quality products. But the way that Alibaba trade assurance protects you is totally different from protection you got when you were buying product on Amazon or AliExpress. For B2C platforms, they will usually hold buyers' money for quite a long time and they will release the money to the seller once the buyer is satisfied. But this kind of way doesn't work in international trading because for B2B trading orders, usually the purchasing quantity is large and order values is also very large, and an order at least values like few thousand US dollars, and supplies margin is also very tiny when compared with retailers. If Alibaba hold buyers' money just like other B2C platforms, then suppliers will be short of cash flow very quick. So Alibaba figured out a very smart way, gives every supplier a credit, and which is known as trade assurance limit. And you can easily find this credit value in every supplier's profile page. Every buyer's credit is different, and a new seller will firstly start with few thousands credit. The more trade assurance transaction he uses, the higher credit the supplier will have. It's just like how you use the credit card. The more money you spend, the more credit the bank will give you if you can keep a very good record. This credit, the trade assurance limit, it means how much US dollars value will Alibaba guarantee for this supplier. If the money you send to suppliers is less than this credit, then the supplier can get the money right away. And then if you are not satisfied with the product you received and the supplier refuses to give you money back, then Alibaba will become the judge. If the supplier loses this case, then Alibaba will give you the compensation first, and then they will charge this money back from the supplier by themselves. If the supplier refuses to pay this money to Alibaba, then Alibaba will close supplier's account soon, which will be a very big loss to this supplier. Here is a very important question. Does all suppliers on Alibaba accept orders going through the trade assurance? The answer is no. When you search products on Alibaba, you can find that almost every supplier will have this shield icon, and it means they can accept trade assurance. I can tell you the truth that every Chinese supplier will have this icon, but for suppliers from other countries or other areas, very few of them will have it. That means most of them they cannot accept trade assurance. Even though all Chinese suppliers they are able to accept trade assurance orders, but still very big percentage of them are not that comfortable for using it, especially when the order value is large, like over 50,000 US dollars or over 100,000 US dollars. Because the suppliers also don't know the buyer's real background and don't know if the buyer is trustworthy either. Because there are existing some bad buyers and they take advantage of the fact that Alibaba is more likely to give more benefit to buyers when there's a dispute between buyer and the seller in the refund process. Thus, Alibaba can get more good reviews from buyers. Then they can attract more sellers come to Alibaba and pay more money to this platform. Based on this kind of situation, a lot of suppliers they prefer not placing order via trade assurance, but just let the buyer send the money to their bank account directly. Because no matter it's manufacturer or trading companies, their net profit is very small, only has 10%. And for some industry like steel panels, their net profit is even less than 3%. Once the customer requires for compensation because of couple of days delay to delivery or just very small defects, then the supplier will lose money. So if the product you want to purchase, there are a lot of suppliers, then of course you need to choose those who accept the trade assurance order. But if there are not so many suppliers available for the product you want, then it's still considerable to choose the suppliers who don't accept the trade assurance. Because don't accept trade assurance order doesn't mean he is a bad supplier, and you can still judge if he is a reliable supplier in other aspects. The next question is, what should be attention when using trade assurance? The first thing you need to check is supplier's trade assurance limit, which also means how much US dollar value credit will Alibaba guarantee this supplier. I have mentioned above, new sellers credit will only have few thousand US dollars, and the more trade assurance order the supplier use, the higher limit he will have. So you have to check if the supplier's trade assurance limit is over than the order you want to place. Let me give you an example. If the supplier only have 20,000 US dollars limit, however, you want to place a 50,000 US dollars order. After you send in this money, the supplier can only get 20,000 US dollars from the bank account, which is controlled by Alibaba, and the rest 30,000 US dollars will be released to supplier only when this order is finished. In this kind of situation, the supplier will be short of cash flow, and of course, he will refuse you to place orders through the trade assurance. Well, for trade assurance limit, it's not always the higher the better. And my experience is, as long as it can cover your order's value, it's enough. There's some tutorial on internet said the higher trade assurance limit it has, the more trustworthy the company is. It's not correct, because a lot of suppliers, they will play tricks to improve this limit in order to get a better ranking in Alibaba. The second thing you need to pay attention to when you are using the trade assurance order is that you need to write all your requirements of the product and the delivery information as detailed as possible. Because once there's dispute happen between you and the supplier, then all the detailed requirements in the trade assurance order will become the most powerful evidence. Even though the email or text message communication history can be used as the evidence, but sometimes they will be quite ambiguous. So after placing order, if there's any change happen in the order, for example, you change the purchasing quantity or you change the color of the product, you always need to add this modification in your trade assurance order. After you're watching the section 1, you probably have very good understanding about what is the trade assurance. So in this section, I will show you a real case to teach you step by step how to create a trade assurance order correctly. I'm going to place order to the Alibaba account of my friend's company. This is my friend's company page in Alibaba, Shanghai Hongbin International, and they are mainly sell the promotional pens, and they're already on Alibaba for 7 years and a very trustworthy supplier. So if you need all kinds of promotional pens, promotional stationeries, you can find them on Alibaba and get a very good quality. When you find the right supplier to make your products and you confirm all the details before the production, then you can just do nothing. Just let the supplier to help you create this trade assurance order. And then you can go to My Orders and find this trade assurance order and confirm it. Otherwise, you can create the trade assurance order by yourself and then let the supplier to click the confirm button. And then you can move to the payment process. And now just let me show you how to create the trade assurance order by yourself. Firstly, you need to go to the message center, and if you see this start order button, click it. And then we move to the right side where you can fill out your order details. Then you need to add products. If you want to add an item which is not existing in his product list, for example, you want to add an additional packaging box, then you can click here, Add Unreleased Product. If you have a contract between you and a supplier, then you can click here to add the contract. For most cases, no matter you place orders through trade assurance or not, most of suppliers will send you an invoice or contract, so you can just upload here. And here, you can choose the appointed shipping method with your supplier. And you always need to remember that you have to confirm the shipping method before you placing order. You can either use your own freight forwarder to arrange the shipping, or just let the supplier help you ship the products to your place. Trade turn is a very important element that you cannot make it wrong. For trade turns, if you are not so clear with the responsibility for your side or the supplier side, you can just click Trade Turn Overview. It's very easy to understand through this infographic. The most common used trade turn is EXW, FOB, CIF, and DDP. And you can just forget all the rest because they are useless for most buyers. The EXW turns means you need to find someone to pick up the cargoes at the supplier's place. And FOB means your shipping company will pick up the cargo at the air or seaport of China. The CIF means your shipping company need to pick up the cargo at the port of your country, and the supplier will arrange the shipping from his warehouse all the way to the port of your country. And DDP is the simplest way, which means the supplier will be responsible for shipping all the way from China to your home with all costs included. If there's any shipping costs that you need to pay to the suppliers for FOB, CIF, or DDP turns, just type in here. If your supplier help you arrange the shipping all the way to your country, and you can inquire him about how much the insurance costs for the freight, and usually it's about 0.1% of the product value. However, this insurance will not pay you anything for the product is damaged, and you will only get compensation when your cargo is lost. For this dispatch date, you need to reach agreement with the supplier. You can either let the supplier to ship out the products once he receives the deposit or balance, or just specify an exact date for shipping out. But you cannot use trade assurance to help you guarantee that when you can receive the products, because the international logistic is very complicated and the delivery time will be influenced a lot by the shipping and also by the import-export process. Then you need to edit how much money you should pay for the initial payment to let the supplier start making the products. And generally, Chinese supplier will require a 30% initial payment, and then the balance should be paid before they shipping out the products. For small orders like less than 2,000 US dollars, a lot of supplier will require a full payment for the initial. So you always need to confirm with the supplier about what is the payment term before you create the trade assurance order. Then we look here, you can hire third-party inspection companies to travel to supplier's place to inspect product's quality and also confirm if the quantity and the function is correct. This service is provided by Bureau Veritas and China Certification and Inspection Company. Is this service recommended? I don't think so, because the general price to hire a third-party inspection companies is around $300 for a whole day. And for these two world-famous inspection companies, $118 and $188 is kind of like too less for them, and they will just maybe only spend 1 or 2 hours to help you inspect the product, which means very less percentage of your product will be inspected. My suggestion is, if you really need someone to help you randomly pick a couple of products to see if the quality is good and calculate the quantity of the batch is correct, then you can use this service. But if you want someone to help you inspect products as many as possible and in a professional way, then it's more recommended to use a third-party inspection company and use their standard service, which costs around $300 a day. After you're submitting this order, then you need to wait until the supplier clicks the confirm button, and then you can arrange for the initial payment. For different countries, the payment method could be some difference, but the two main methods is credit card and telegraphic transfer for all countries. For credit card payment, you need to pay extra 2.9% as a transfer fee, which is a lot. For telegraphic transfer, you need to send the money to the bank account which is given by Alibaba, and the beneficiary is your supplier's company name. But this bank account is created by Alibaba and which is also controlled by them. But if you send the money to supplier's other bank accounts, then you will be out of the trade assurance protection. I don't want you that come into this bad situation that you have received bad quality products and apply for a refund. But if it really happened to you, then you need to fill out this refund form and you need to provide evidence as detailed as possible. So here is the question. Is it really easy to get a full refund just like online shopping? Of course, it's not as easy as you thought unless the product you receive has too many defects that you cannot use or you cannot resell to other people, or the product is completely different as you required it. Then you have the very high chance to get the full refund. In other situations, you need to spend a lot of time to dispute with the supplier to get your money back, or maybe just a part of the money back. Because it's international trading and the product you buy are brand new made after you placing order, and usually products are customized according to your requirements, and there will be logo on the product, or there will be some your company information on the packaging box. If the product get returned back, it's almost not possible for the supplier to sell this product to other customers. And also the cost for returning back to China is also very huge and sometimes even more expensive than the product value. And also supplier's margin is very low. For example, he sell you a product for $5 and he only got like $1 profit. If he gives you the $5,000 full payment back, which means he have to sell around $25,000 value product to other customers, then it can cover their loss in your order. But for most e-commerce retailers, they only pay like $5 for the wholesale price for the product from China, and they will sell around $30 to their customers, and only less than 10% of the product they sold will be refunded by the customer, but they still have very good profit. So that's how it makes sense that it's not easy to get a full refund on Alibaba. If the product you received only have very small defects and they are still good to be used, then you need to dispute with supplier very hard. If you cannot reach agreement with the supplier about the compensation solutions, Alibaba will still judge which side win this case in the end. But Alibaba still encourages the buyer and the seller to negotiate to reach agreement, because Alibaba, they don't want to be the bad guy to either side. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any question about Alibaba Trade Assurance, please leave your comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to source any product in China, want to find reliable suppliers in China, please let me know on jingsourcing.com, and I will see you in the next video.